Okay, hey everyone, it is me, Catherine. Please excuse the state of this, the state of this. It's quarter to midnight, so it's not as late as I usually film these. But I decided... Okay, sit down, Catherine, because you're gonna make people sick moving around like this. So, basically, I've been made aware of the existence of the Netflix Persuasion film. And today, being Sunday, we've had the new My Hero chapter. And it broke my heart, devastated me, needed something to take my mind off it. So I thought, you know what? That Persuasion film is supposed to be bad, let's watch that. It'll be a good laugh. Fuck, no. No. I'm 43 minutes in and I have so much. I've had to skip some of it. I've not even watched all 43 minutes. I've had to like scan through like the dinner because for whatever reason, right, they've decided that having Anne narrate the story and her inner thoughts to us, like looking directly at the camera and being like, hey, look at this, like we're there, like we're her friend, like bitch, no, stop talking to me, I don't give a fuck, get on with it, show me all these emotions that you're feeling, show me the relationship you've got with your family, with Wentworth, show me all of this, stop telling me, I don't care, why? Oh. Everything's so... There's no subtlety in anything. Like, they've made it very clear from the get-go that Annie's the least favourite. When I even reread Persuasion to like prepare me so it was fresher in my head. Persuasion's one of my favourites. It's like Pride and Prejudice, absolute fucking favourite. Persuasion is the next one for Jane Austen. Like, I love Persuasion. And while Anne, yes, not a favourite child, their dad, Sir Walter, thinks both Anne and Mary are just inferior. There's no one favoured over the other. Mary probably slightly more because she's married. Oh, and they've just made it like everything that was in her thoughts is spoken. It's out there. Wentworth is being a massive prick right now, right? And while he's nothing but civil to Anne, okay, the worst thing he says is that, you know, she's quite altered. She doesn't look like Anne anymore. And I've had to pause the film to grab my camera. I was going to film this tomorrow, but I cannot wait. I cannot wait. It's making me so mad. Louisa, they had Louisa, like, encouraging Anne to start trying to get Wentworth's attention for whatever reason. When Anne, right, tries to distance herself from that connection with Wentworth. But they've had Louisa, like, push that. And then when she realised that Anne wasn't going for it, she's immediately took her place, which makes Louisa look a little bit... Not, they're making her, she's saying nice things now about Anne, but they made her sort of like made it like, I don't know why that happened. Louisa is after Wentworth in the first place. Why would they do that? And Wentworth is so mean. He's saying such mean things about Anne, and he doesn't. Like, yes, he's mad, yes, he's angry, but that doesn't change anything. He's not suddenly mean. He's doing the same thing Anne is. They're sort of like distancing themselves, pretending that they're not really connected when actually they were engaged he asked her to marry him like 8 years ago. And they've made Anne such an awkward, clumsy, drunk, like she's downing alcohol. She's like visibly moping for those 8 years, which is absolute bollocks because yes, she was upset. Yes, those 8 years didn't treat her well. Yes, she was sort of like less herself than she was. But she didn't turn to alcohol and crying herself to sleep at night. And if she did, she didn't talk about it because it's not something to be proud of. It's not funny. I think they're trying to make this funny and it's really not working. Mary irritates me in the book, but she's like 10 times worse here. And like, before this chat with Louisa and Wentworth, they've got Anne just like wandering away to have a piss in the woods. Like, why? Like when we see her like creeping up towards a tree, I'm like, oh, are they trying to make out that she eavesdropped on purpose? And then she hikes her dress up and starts pulling down her underwear. It's like, no, she's taking a piss. Why? Oh, I'm so mad. I've got an hour left of this shit and I don't know if I can do it. I don't know if I can do it. At least Louisa is defending Anne here. At least she is, because he said some mean things that are just unwarranted. Like, they're just not. All she did was say no because she was 19 and her like mother figure, right, whether right or wrong, persuaded her that it was the wrong idea. Okay, yes, she shouldn't have done that, but like Anne was only 19, right? This was her mother's best friend who like sort of like became sort of like a mother figure friend to Anne, and it was the only one who's been there for her because Mary's a self-centered little prick, and her dad and wait, what's her older sister called? Elizabeth? Only care about themselves. Anne only has really, or only had Lady Russell for like the longest time. So like, yeah, it was wrong, but she did it, you know, she did it. It's been 8 years, my dude. There's no need to be this vicious. Jeez. This was a mistake, but I'm not upset about my hero anymore, so I guess that rage is working. She's talking again. Please stop. Oh my god. And she's just tripped over. I don't know why they've made her like this. Like I said, Anne isn't embarrassing or clumsy. She's like really well liked. She's got plenty of nice things to say, good things to say, smart things to say. She's intelligent. And they've made her this, I don't know. I don't know, but I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. Please, please. Everything about this is such a stupid, it's so dumb. It's so dumb, please. Okay, I'm sorry, this is we've been like 2 seconds later. The problem is, they can't just let things go quietly. Like, they've got the whole carriage scene and they're both like encouraging. No one talked to her. It was literally just, everybody's got to say something. Everybody has to have their say. No one can just do things quietly. Like, no one's trying to say things with just their face. Everything has to be said with words. And it just takes so much away from this. It's so, and like, it's not even subtle. Why am I doing it? I don't know if I can finish this film. I don't know if I can finish this film. I don't know if I can finish it. No, we can do this. Have strength, Catherine. Have strength. Have strength. I really should have got the proper tripod out, but here we are. Okay, so I think what's annoying me about this now is that this carriage scene was in the book. It was supposed to be like a sign because again, Anne isn't trying to initiate anything with Wentworth. She literally just wants them to be okay. She's not after being, or at least obviously she still loves Wentworth. That's very clear in the book. She still loves Wentworth, but she knows he's angry. She understands that he's angry at her, and she's not after anything more. She just wants them to be, I don't know, friendly again, civil again. So this carriage scene in the book is a sign that, you know, he's still actually, whether he's angry with her or, you know, he's not really talking to her or anything, this carriage scene where he secretly whispers something to his sister, who asks Anne, who offers Anne the carriage, and Anne accepts. She accepts because she is tired, and she takes that as Wentworth noticing that she's tired, and it's sort of like the carriage scene is sort of like an olive branch. But this, they've made it as sort of like this feels like a punishment. Like, they have Wentworth and Louisa being like, hey, just take the dang carriage, don't be so proud. Like, bitch. Oh. Everything about this scene is wrong. The carriage is an olive branch. It's sort of like a, hey, we might not be able to be what we were, but I can see you struggling. Take the dang carriage. But he does it without saying anything. He just whispers to his sister. And then they ask Anne if she would like to ride in the carriage. Anne agrees. I don't remember putting up a fight about it. Everything about this is wrong. The whole vibe is wrong. The feelings are wrong. Everybody talks too much. Oh, God, I hate it. I swore I was going to wait, but we've got to Lyme. Also, annoying thing. Why do they keep putting the names of the places in massive letters, like Lyme, Upper Cross, Kellynch Hall? But also now we have this scene thing is, Annie's very kind. She doesn't need convincing to talk to people or to be nice to people. But here we have Captain Harville asking her to talk to Captain Benwick. Right? So now it looks like some sort of charity, some sort of pity, and not Anne just genuinely being interested in him as a person. And I fucking hate everything about this and how what they've done with my precious characters. And how it's sort of Anne and Wentworth, right? Heartbroken by the entire ordeal from 8 years ago. Okay, they're both clearly still hung up on it, right? But you know what they never did in the book? They never talked to anybody about it. They never made it anybody else's business. And it's clear that Harville here knows who Anne is, when I don't think there was any indication given in the book that he did. It was sort of like Wentworth went away and he just wanted to forget about Anne. Just wanted to leave it and just try and move on with his life. So he didn't talk about it. Anne wanted the same thing, so she didn't talk about it. And now they're doing this, like making Anne, like, hey, go talk to Captain Benwick, when Anne did that off her own back because she was genuinely interested in him. Guys. Oh, we've still got an hour left. I've barely watched anything. We've just met Mr. Elliot. And whereas in the book, right, they speak no words to him. He just acknowledges Anne, glances at her like he's interested, like he finds her attractive, and looks at him, and they move on. Wentworth makes a comment about it. Here, Mr. Elliot acts like some fucking sleazeball, like, oh, I believe I'm in your way. Well, maybe you can correct that. What? And then Wentworth has the... tries to act like he has, like, the right... like he's like a jealous boyfriend. Like, mate, no. No one speaks two words to Mr. Elliot. Why are they doing this now? You can establish feelings with facial expressions, with just a look. Stop making everybody have to talk. I am begging you, Netflix. Stop. I've got so much with this film. I need my inhaler. I hate it so much. I almost wish I was back to crying about My Hero. Almost. That's how much we're hating this right now. Who wrote this? I'm sorry, I'm sure you worked very hard, but please.
I suppose what I'm getting at is
there's no build up.
I would like to be friends.
What? I would like to be friends. There's no...
The same.
Yes, no, exactly the same. I've got something falling in my face. There's no... I'm not feeling really any... all I'm feeling is like second-hand embarrassment for how stilted these conversations are. Why are they talking like this? I genuinely hope you find love.
Thank you.
Bollocks. Why do they insist on this? There's no build up for any of this.
Well, excellent.
Excellent.
Good.
Mate, fucking jog on. Don't smile at him. Nothing about this was good.
Maybe to help you'll be open to pursuing the admiralty.
Also, this thing with the Navy, what the fuck is this? Why are they encouraging him to pursue an admiralty? No one mentioned Wentworth in an admiralty in this. No one... Actually, it wasn't even really implied that he'd left the Navy, I don't think. Or that he wasn't planning any of this. I don't know, I get that this is about Wentworth and Anne. But they don't have a proper conversation till Bath. Really? Everything's just them sort of reacquainting themselves with each other in this new sort of environment that they're in. Them both still being unmarried. Them both still feeling very strongly about what happened 8 years ago. Both dealing with it maybe different ways, maybe similar ways. either way, him treating her sort of coldly but still civil, just sort of like distant, like they were just like acquaintances, like they didn't have anything deeper going on, and sort of having fun with Louisa and Henrietta. And yet they keep throwing them together to have these conversations when he avoids them. She also sort of avoided them to begin with, and then maybe sort of like started seeking him out. And now they're having these weird conversations. I just want us to be friends. Why? Why? No, you don't. Why are you lying? Because at this point in the book, we find out later when they have a proper conversation at the end, when the feelings come out, he says that he would, at Lyme is when he realised that, you know, despite all his best intentions, he was still very much in love with Anne, and he was going to leave Louisa alone. And then obviously what's about to happen now is, you know, Louisa's about to have her accident, and then because he'd just been messing around with Louisa and Henrietta, he'd not really realised the situation he'd put himself in. But everything about this is wrong. My precious characters that I love so much, it's wrong. Like, why? And I tell you, if she looks at the camera and talks to me after this...
Everyone speaks to her, Julia.
What?
I'm sure they understate it.
They don't really know who I am or what would make me happy.
Well, I do.
Well, I do. What?
I know you.
Do you? It's been 8 years.
I know you want a life of consequence. And I know you'd be brilliant.
I thought this conversation was
Was
done.
there a secret?
Always.
My most grim moments at sea. And I felt completely lost and confused and inadequate. I would ask myself, what would Anne do here?
I knew that was coming.
That's how I know how to proceed. Pretending I was you.
You lie.
Quite true. You're always best in an emergency. Anticipating the needs of others.
Why are they having this conversation before Louisa's accident?
Calm, thoughtful, equipped with more intelligence than does Euclid.
Oh, but...
You're an exceptional person. It angers me the world denies you the chance of a public life. You'd make a great husband.
Why is he suddenly a feminist? Why is he suddenly a feminist? Why are they trying to make him out to be this... Okay. Yeah, no, okay.
Sorry.
There's gonna be so many weird camera angles in this. Mr. Elliot is back, and they're talking again, and he's asked for an introduction. Bearing in mind, right, this man is in mourning for his dead wife, right? I have no words. It's just they showed up, they're talking, he's asked for an introduction.
He's my friend, and I believe he misconstrued your intentions.
My intentions were construed most accurately.
Most accurately. I intended for you to notice me. Bitch, I know you didn't care for your dead wife, but please, at least pretend. You've got like, what? He's got like 6 months left or something of his mourning before he can like, before it's like socially acceptable to pursue somebody else. And while he does make his intentions very clear to Anne much later on, he doesn't do it straight away. Like, he's a knob and a sleazebag, but he's not this bad.
Yes.
Nice. Simple. I like it.
Will I see you again?
We must entrust that to Providence.
Why are they doing this?
Made up my mind.
Why are they being flirty now?
Can you tell me the name of the gentleman who just left?
She's just said that Mr. Elliot, the embarrassment that he's caused their family, Anne has just said that that's his most winning quality. And while Anne does not care much for her father, like, she's well aware of the flaws of her father and her younger sister and her older sister, she actually dislikes Mr. Elliot for how he's treated her family. So I know, the thing is, it's because they've played up how much her family dislikes Anne. They've played it up like they hate her, and really it's not that they hate her, they're very shallow people, and Anne is not, while she's attractive in a certain way, she's not what they consider attractive. And therefore they find her inferior. So while yes, Anne is tired of her family and she's well aware of the effect they have on the people around them, and she's sort of a little bit embarrassed by them herself occasionally, she does not appreciate the way Mr. Elliot treats her family. It's one of those, I will think of them however the fuck I want, but you, sir, not my family, not my family. Give me strength. Okay. 47 minutes left, and obviously some of that's going to be credits, but we're making progress. He knew she was infatuated. He knew Louisa was infatuated, when in fact Wentworth is potentially one of the most oblivious people in Persuasion, methinks, when it comes to himself at least. Yes, he did nothing to discourage her, but that's because he wasn't aware how deep it went. He didn't know We know he's responsible for it. All this oh, my battery's low. Please, this comes later. Why are they revealing everything now? One of the things I love about Persuasion, we don't really know what Wentworth's thinking the entire time. We don't know until the end. Okay. We're exploring Lady Russell's feelings now.
The reason widowed men die soonest and unmarried women live longest. We're great company.
What do you ever miss? Company.
Company?
Why do you think I take so many European tours?
Lady Russell.
Lady Russell, why are they doing this? What the fuck is happening in this film? Elizabeth talks too much. Why does everybody talk too much? Elizabeth is never...
I'm never quite sure whether you're insulting me or not, but I value your regard so little that I don't mind either way.
They're not... Why are they... Elizabeth is not... with her many flaws, she's not desperate. She does not throw herself at people. People throw themselves at Elizabeth. That's how she thinks of herself. Or at least that's the impression I got from the books. They don't throw themselves at people. People throw themselves at them, her father and Elizabeth. Why is she talking about octopus? Dream... What?
Sucking my own face.
She would never. My Anne would never. Please, Mr. Elliot, stop. Jane Austen's funny on her own. Just because you don't understand her humour, stop trying to make it funny by yourself. No one believes Louisa's married to engaged to Captain Wentworth. In the letter, it's clear that it's Captain Benwick. It's clear that it's Captain Benwick. Why are they adding... Why? Like, Louisa's engaged. Oh, of course, to Captain Wentworth. Horrible. To Captain Benwick. Oh, good, relax. Fine, now she's crying in a bath. They're still making out that she doesn't know that it's Captain Benwick.
I'm glad to have the opportunity.
Why are they doing this? Why are they adding like this miscommunication, misunderstanding, this... Okay, like, I'm super sorry, like, now on my phone. Quick apology starting now. For whatever reason, I must be covering up some of the mic with my hand because it's on, the sound is on, all my voice is only coming out of the left side. So I'm going to apologise for that. Almost all of the phone footage sound is like this, so my bad. But like, we're going for miscommunication here. We're going for like... Okay, so we still believe that Wentworth is marrying Louisa. And now Mr. Elliot has told Wentworth that he's all but engaged to Anne. Like, he gets jealous in the book, but like, please, like, I'm so mad I had to get my phone out. I was gonna leave this till tomorrow, but I just cannot. I don't even like Mr. Elliot, but like, I feel bad for what they've done to him here, because this is not like, yes, he's bad, but he's not this obvious. Like, he keeps interrupting them. I'm like, just fucking smack him in the face. I'm hoping Mary's gonna like clear things up a little bit. But why is he getting on a ship somewhere? But also, why have they put a deadline on this? Why have they put a time limit on this? Are we still not going to tell Anne that it's Captain Bennick? Please, no, when she's looked at the camera. She's looked at the camera. You know what? I might be able to tolerate this a lot more if she stopped trying to talk to me. I hope things get cleared up here. Oh, here we go. Letters. He's writing a letter now. Good, we love a letter in Jane Austen. We love a letter in our period dramas, period films or whatever. But you see, this is where all the feelings come in. She's having that conversation with Harville and it gives him hope. He scribbles his feelings down on paper and he's like, here, have it, and then runs. This is where it should have all been building up to, but the build-up has been ruined by talking all the time and random miscommunication, misunderstandings.
Well, that's certain. We women do not forget you so soon as you forget us.
Now this is a conversation that actually happened in the book. But this is the thing, right? The conversation in this is so, like, some of it sounds like it's straight from, like, the book, like it sounds like it should, and then other bits it just so stilted and awkward and just okay, run away and then come back and hand her the letter. I don't know when this was supposed to be just like a pause, talk about my feelings. Now it's come like a
I'm speaking of Louise's engagement to Captain Bennick, of course. The love grows slow and short.
Now everything's cleared. Now this shouldn't have happened in the first place. If you're having to add extra drama into something, maybe you shouldn't be making it into a film. Maybe just leave it as the book, because it's good. Okay, he doesn't rush back to shove the letter into her hand. It's like they don't understand, like, what makes Persuasion good. Read it. No, not you. Wentworth.
I can listen no longer in silence.
Wentworth, give me...
You pierce my soul.
No, I don't want to hear you talking. You've talked too much, please. Let Wentworth do it. See? If we'd had the right kind of build-up, this would have been amazing. I love this bit in the book. But then we had that nonsense about the friendship, and it's just, we've had no, like, feeling, there was no feeling in any of their glances. It's all ruined by her looking at me. Stop looking at me. What the hell? No, hold on. No, hold on. Wentworth and Mrs. Clay, right? Okay, I meant Mr. Elliot and Mrs. Clay here. We just have a passing friendly conversation. They full on making out. They're snogging in the street. Like, you just don't do it. What is... Okay, we've got 11 minutes and 23 seconds left, and some of this is the credits, so, you know, we're fine. We're nearly done. We can make this. We can do this. And now he's gone back to snogging her like it's nothing. I don't understand this film and what they got from the book. You don't need to kiss someone for it to be romantic. You know what? After this, I'm going to go scrolling back through Twitter. I'm going to make myself sad again because of my hero. To forget about this. We're getting a wedding. That looks like Mr. Elliot. Why is he marrying Mrs. Clay? Like, it was why? And then we've got Lady Russell looking at her European tour guide. I just don't understand this film. Who did they make this for? Because it's not for fans of Persuasion, that's for fucking sure. Or people who are fans of Jane Austen. Like, if you've watched other, like, Jane Austen, like, films, TV, this is bollocks. Are there other Persuasion? Is there good at a Persuasion adaptation? Because I need to find one. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna look it up. Are we done? Can I turn this off? Is it? Well, we've got like, this is sort of nice. We have like this is how the film started, with them sitting in a field. Only he was crying the first time, which I don't like. Because it's sort of implied that that's how they parted. They kissed and he cried and they went away. When really what it was like, I can't marry you. He got mad and fucked off. Which, you know, she's smiling at me. I just like, the humour was not it. Very un-Jane Austen. Based on the novel Persuasion written by Jane Austen. Very, very... Like, did you read it? Or did you just look up the fucking Spark Notes for what happened? Right. I get, right, that adaptations aren't going to be the same, or like even similar. Right, they might, or like, you know what, well, like, they're just going to be like, just loosely. My favourite, right, Pride and Prejudice, the Keira Knightley film. I fucking love that. Is there a lot of differences with the book? Absolutely. But it's in a film. Like, there's things you've got to cut, you know, things you've got to, like, adapt slightly to make it film worthy. That was bollocks. It was bollocks. Like, why they decided to have Anne narrate at us was an odd choice. It was an odd choice. Making her clumsy and awkward and an alcoholic. They tried to make it, I don't know, too much like a modern romance. No one watches a period drama for modern style romance. Jane Austen is funny on her own. If you don't get her humour, then, I don't know, sucks to be you, I guess. That's fine, whatever. But then maybe Jane Austen isn't for you, you know? If you've got to make weird things about fucking octopuses. Right, okay, so what I'm going to do now, I'm going to stop this because my phone battery's probably going to die as well because it's on like 15, well, it's probably less than 15 now. I'm going to put my camera battery on charge. I'm going to film the rest, I'm going to film the goodbye after I've slept. Maybe I'll try and like gather my thoughts together to do some final things and then we'll finish this. I am going to do something else to like bleach my brain. Fuck me. Okay, so to wrap things up, I suppose actually I should just quickly mention I do have a fan on in the background because it's quite warm today, and my little box room gets very hot. So I've got my fan on. Apologies if it annoys you, but I'm not turning it off. So to wrap up, okay, so honestly there's a lot more I could have gone into because I have gone through the footage. And because of how mad I was, like, there's lots of things that I forgot, and I could make this such a long, I don't know what my hair's doing today. I could make this such a long video. I'm not going to. I'm going to try and keep this fairly succinct. Is that a word? Is that the word I'm looking for? I'm going to keep it short. Try and keep it short. Basically, I was trying to think of a way to be nice about it because I was not nice about this film while I was watching it. But I think because it's a Jane Austen adaptation, the way it was done, it didn't work. It didn't work. And because I am familiar with the book that it is based on, for me, it didn't work. Like, I think if this was a story on its own, with the way it was done, with the way that they chose to have Anne narrating at us, with the way they made Anne sort of a typical rom-com main character. Like, maybe if they tried to do a story, I know their own story or a different story, it might have worked better. For me, the main reason this didn't work is because it was supposed to be a Persuasion adaptation. And because of how, like, I understand having to change things slightly because some things work better in a book in written format than it does on screen. So sometimes you have to slightly change how a character comes across because it could be more irritating to like watch and listen to than it is to read it. You know, things like that. But they changed Anne. There's nothing wrong with Anne in the book. There was no reason to change her. And I feel like they changed Wentworth as well. Like, they changed them to fit this idea of what they thought it should be, what they thought the vibe should be, completely ruining everything. They made Anne clumsy, awkward, drowning in alcohol, and chose to tell you about what Anne is like through other characters rather than showing you what Anne is like by Anne's actions herself. So you find out she's intelligent and kind and things mostly from what the people around her are saying about her. Like, you see bits of it, like when you see her playing with the kids, like she's the fun Anne, and she is. The kids in the book, the kids love Anne, so that's not like, those little bits of it could have been, but they tried to make it Jane Austen, right? You might not believe it, but Jane Austen is actually funny, right? Her books are funny, they have humour in them, okay? But it's a different kind of humour. It's not the sort of humour that they threw into this. Talking about octopuses, taking a piss against a tree, falling over. Elliot, like the way Mr. Elliot was treated, like the things they tried to make funny, for me, it just, it didn't work. It didn't work. My sister said she was interested in watching it because she saw the trailer and it looked good, but she hasn't read Persuasion. So I'd be very interested to see how she feels about it, because I watched the trailer and the trailer is also bad. Everything bad about it is also in the trailer. But they also make Wentworth this sort of bumbling idiot, and while I am quite fond of a bumbling idiot, right, that is not Wentworth. That is not Wentworth. Oblivious, at times, yes, but a bumbling idiot, no. I just feel like they got everybody wrong. Mary was probably the closest, and even then I feel like she wasn't done that well either. They tried and it didn't work. Whatever it was, it didn't work, and I'm so mad I watched it. Oh, it was awful. It was awful. I have a hard time separating, like thinking of things as two separate things, but I think even if they were, if I did, like, this is supposed to be a Jane Austen adaptation, and nothing about that was, for me, very Jane Austen. I just feel like it was a joke. It was a joke, and I am done. Okay, I was trying to be nice. It's a joke. I can't. So that was that. Thanks so much for watching. Please, honestly, please if you watched it, let me know. Please let me know. I want to know what you thought about it, because it was, especially if you enjoyed it, I genuinely want to know what you found enjoyable about it. I'm very interested to know, like, seriously, genuinely very interested to know. But that's gonna be it. That's it from me. I'm done. I'm not gonna slag it anymore. So that was me talking about the Netflix Persuasion film, and my thoughts are it was bad. Okay, it was bad. But thanks so much for watching. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments below. All my socials are linked in the description if you would like to check them out, along with my Twitch channel if that's something you're interested in. I do stream on Twitch 3 times a week on Wednesdays, Fridays and Sundays. But apart from that, I hope you all have a lovely rest of your day wherever you are, and I will hopefully see you in another video. Bye!